All right. So as I was saying, I know some of us have not been able to get into the command websites, and so what I really just wanted to do was a introduction into how to get into the creating your website through command. I know Keller Williams has had a lot of different options, so if you've been with us for a while, you may have gone through Market Leader, may have gone through Playster, but like I said, right now we're in command. So I'm just going to take you guys through that entire process again, record this video, and then this will also go onto our YouTube page right after. So this is going to be a basic introduction into the website. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. But it's always helpful to go back into it if you have done it too. So I'm going to share my screen starting now, and then I will get started. So first thing, as you can see on my screen, what you want to be doing is you want to make sure that you're in command. So to get there, I just have it as a saved bookmark here, but you can always go to agent.kw.com and then you use your KW username and password to get into there. So I'm going to use Megan's as an example because I think she's still classified as an agent too, so it won't look as weird as mine does. But if you click on this red KW button, it actually shows you what each one of the apps is on the left-hand side. So just in case you ever click on this and like, I don't know how to get back to my website, you can click on this and it'll show you, and you're able to see that consumer site here. So the consumer tab is what is going to take you to any of your landing pages or agent pages as well. So from here, when I get to the consumer section, I want to go to agent site pages. And you can see from here, it looks like Megan has already, started the process of creating her website. If I click on this megansargent.kw.com, it should take me to some type of branded website over here. Yeah, you can see, looks like she's filled it out somewhat here, but basically it looks like it is branded to her. So she went through the process of creating that. So if you have it, if you see that and you see no pages on here, what that means is that you have not gone through creating your initial setup of your website, and that's what we're going to go ahead and do together right now. All right, so to make sure that we can go ahead and start that process, you can either click on configure your site right here, or you can scroll down on the bottom here and it'll say configure your site. So we'll click on that, and then a box will come up and say, before you begin, what would you like to use for your site? And you want to click on, I want to use the new KW agent sites. So click submit. It's going to take us through a guide that's pretty much going to create those initial pages that you saw on Megan's site. Before I go through the guide, is there any questions or anything like that so far?
So because mine says see your configured agent site here.
Yep.
And I click it and I see an agent site. So do I need to modify that at all, or?
What you would want to do there is to get to the spot to get back to the guide builder. Mm-hmm. You would want to still click on the configure your site and go to the configure the new KW site.
Oh, I want to use the new KW agent.
Yeah, okay. It'll, even if you've worked on it before, you still want to make sure to click on this.
The top one. Okay.
Yep. So, and that's the same thing of if you're going back to work on anything in this guide. So if you're we go through this and you're oh, there's some things I want to edit, based off of, what we did in the training, you can go back to this guide whenever you want. And I mean, you can change things in and out of here too.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to click get started. Okay. So on your left-hand side of this screen, you're going to see what you're changing on your website. And the right-hand side, you're going to actually be changing things on your website. So the first thing is your subdomain. So this is the domain that you're going to use to put on, if you don't purchase a domain, this would be the domain that you're going to have on your business cards, on any marketing, anything like that. This is the website domain. Now, you can always purchase a domain name through like GoDaddy or something else like that and have that domain forward to this website. So just want to make sure that. So for example, it tells you a couple of specific things that you need to make sure here. Don't put spaces, don't put special characters. So I always say, like for Megan, I'm just going to use her as an example as an agent. She's an individual agent. She's not part of a team, right? So I just tell her, go ahead and put your first and last name.kw.com. And then you would hit confirm domain, and it just says, congrats, you have claimed your subdomain. The only reason it wouldn't say that is if someone else already had that subdomain. Okay. I'm gonna scroll next to this marketing profile information. This pretty much helps us fill out a lot of the rest of the website. So it's important that we make sure that we do everything correctly here. A lot of it may already have some of your filled out information in here. So for example, like hers already has her first and last name. It'll already have the brokerage name in there automatically. You'll want to make sure to put our market center address in here. And she just put, Bloomington, Illinois right after that. Again, some of this is going to look a little different because she's not an agent right now, right? So team or business name, she just put our office's name. And then for her job title, she put team leader, but for you guys, that would be broker. Make sure to put your email on there. And then when it says your office number, just know that this is your number that you do business on. You do not need to put our office number on there. And if that's the same thing as your phone number, your mobile number works in there, great. Biography. And as you can see, there's red asterisks on the things that have to be done. So if you're like, I just don't have a biography right this second, I do recommend that you, to be able to move forward, that you just put pending in there or write up something short on there as well. Got her agent license number in there. And then for the compliance and legal footer, I actually recommend that you make sure to put just Keller Williams Revolution there, if I can spell it right, and then put that each office is independently owned and operated. Clearly, you guys can see how well I spell. I apologize. It's all because I'm on screen. All right. And then you guys don't have to worry about, you can put our license number and our market center phone number in there, but that's something you don't have to worry about putting in there if you do not want to. So that's an optional thing that you can keep blank. And then this next part here is really important, that it says compliance/legal footer link 1. Unless you're putting a link, please do not put anything in here because it will not let you move forward. So that compliance part that we did before, right over here, is different from this legal footer link 1. You can see right here where I put that Keller Williams Revolution, each office is independently owned and operated. This legal footer link 1 is just if it was a link that you were going to somewhere else. So I've had some issues with some agents who have not been able to move forward past this step because they had something in there for a reason. Okay. You can also have on your footer, you can put a picture on there. So if you wanted like a logo on there on the bottom every single time, you could have that on there and upload that photo. So you can see Megan put that on there. And then as I keep scrolling down in this marketing profile section, you're going to see it's going to put your profile picture in there. It may already have your profile picture in there. So if you don't like that picture, go ahead and replace that. We want to make sure to have our market center or brokerage logo in there. You can also have the option of putting a team logo onto your website. And then it's going to show you, okay, so if you have a team logo in there, what it's going to do is it's going to put that KW, and then it's going to do like your team logo. So that's what this example is for. So for example, it's showing you, here's the KW. So if you put a team logo, it's going to put that KW, the dash mark, and then your team logo in there, or any logo in there. And then the last part of the marketing profile is your social media pieces. So what Megan did is she just took this as, here's our Facebook page. So all she did was, go to Facebook or any of her social media accounts, go to the profile that she wants to grab in there. So for example, I'm going to click on our page here. And then you just take this URL here, copy it, and paste it into this profile section here. It's the same thing if you have a Twitter, LinkedIn, or Instagram. I could also go to Instagram if I wanted right now and do the same thing with my profile, or for Keller Williams' profile too. So if you are worried, like, well, I want to make sure my Instagram's on there, but I've never really used it on your website, not a huge deal, pretty easy. So you just go ahead and click on this. We're on the profile. I hit copy and paste that in there too. So that just means on the bottom here of each page, they're going to see on your other sections of your website and on your homepage, it'll say like your social media accounts. So it'll say like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. And when they click on it, it'll take them right to your pages. And then here is also the link to her app too. Any questions on this marketing profile or anything I need to review before I move on? Okay, I'm gonna go to the next section then. So I'm gonna click on Save and Continue. Okay. So this next part, what we're going to be doing is choosing like the color and the theme over here. So you can choose like a darker theme, which you can see how that changes over here, or the red theme. So it just changes some of the like color theme in there. So you can choose which one applies to you. And then it's going to have this homepage text right over here. So this is right above where the search option is for them. Okay. So you can see that. Sorry. She just left in here the find your dream home, and yours might already say that too, but you can change that to anything. So, if she was creating this obviously for a team leader side, maybe she would change that to looking for a career in real estate or something like that. You can leave the find your dream home, but if there's a different slogan that you like or a different wording that you want to change that to, you can do that here. Or if you're like, hey, I just don't want anything there, you can also just take that out. And you can do that too. And then the next part is the images behind that. So again, if I go to her website here, you can see that here's this image on here. And what's going to happen is, because we've got these different photos in here, and these are just the template photos, it's just going to switch out every single time. So it's going to switch out every so often on her website. Now, if you have your own photos that you want to replace in there, or you want to get rid of some of those here, you can see obviously you can delete them on here, and you can upload your own photos. So for example, if I can find the name of this. For the website that I made, like I just threw in a picture of something just to test out, see if it works, and I didn't really have to change much, to be honest. And it just hopped in there, right? So it's pretty easy to change out the photos there. I actually made that in Designs too as well. So yeah. All right. Any questions on this section? Okay, awesome. We'll click on Save and Continue. Okay, so I got something in the chat box. Give me 1 second. Awesome. All right, so the next section here is going to look pretty similar for these next few pages. It's going to take you to, it's going to have 3 options where it's going to show a navigation side, a search engine optimization, and then the content of that page. So I'm going to explain each page and what the purpose is, and then I'll give you examples of what can be put in for the content in there too. So you can move in this navigation, you can move any of these pages around. So if for some reason you want the About Me first, the Contact Us, and the company profile, you can move that around in the navigation. If you decide to change that, you can always, when you go to the next page, you can change that again. But that's what the navigation does. Search engine optimization, if you haven't heard of that or don't know what that does, that's basically these few options: the page title, the URL, and the SEO description. Let me give you an example of how you might see that on Google. If I type in this watch company that I really like here, the SEO title is Movement Premium Watches, Sunglasses, and Accessories, right? The URL slug is just the name of the domain name that they have here. And then that description is right over here. So I just like to show you guys what that means. SEO is a way to try to get your rankings on Google, get your website up as much as possible without paying for it. So each one of these pages has that SEO option here. So you're going to see that right here. So I can change the name of this title to best represent what might be found on Google. So I might just keep the page title Keller Williams Revolution here and change this to if I wanted to, something like that, or I could have it as one whole thing. Basically anything like that, I can edit what that URL to is. And then the SEO description, this is something what I like to describe as, this should be specific to like here. You can see that, for example, like because I typed this in, they were able to find it. So a key word here is obviously the name of their company. So I always suggest making sure to use your name, making sure to use your location as well, and what you do. So like, I know it seems kind of crazy, but like you should definitely have in there something about real estate in your SEO description too. Before I move forward, Jenny, can you explain your question? You said, did I see the KW Revolution on the top of the page? How?
Right. For some reason, where the KW, I'm not seeing it now, and I thought I saw it on the other one, was that up in the left top wasn't just KW, it was KW Revolution.
Yeah, so that may be because your logo on there, your brokerage logo might be on there, like in that marketing profile section.
Well, I thought I saw it on yours. It's not on mine. Mine looks exactly like that.
That's because we put the logo in there as our team logo. So we did that on purpose.
So how did you do that?
So if I go back to that, the first page that we were working on, the marketing profile section, if you scroll where like you're putting your profile picture and your logos in there, you just need to make sure that you put it in the brokerage part. I'd be happy to go back to it at the end of this as well, too.
Okay, I think I tried and it didn't do the wrong one. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so went through the SEO part, and you're going to see that on each one of the pages that we go through. The next section here is the actual content of this page on our left-hand side, so the company profile section. The purpose of this section and this page is to really describe what you do. So for example, like, you know, using Megan as an example as an agent here, like what you might be doing is putting your name, if you're not a team or if you don't have like a branding or anything like that, I would recommend putting your name. And this is a section to show what you do in real estate. So for example, this intro paragraph would be, this is what I do in real estate. So I like to say, like, this is the part where you should be talking about what you do to stand apart, right? So what type of marketing do you do, things like that. And then you're going to see these other sections here that say headline text and these 2 different pictures. What I've recommended is using this to talk about what you do differently for buyers and sellers. So for example, for this first section, I would change that to say, like, for listings / sellers, right? And for the second part, to change this to buyers. And then what you'd be putting in this paragraph is, what do you do for listings? Like, how do you help people sell their home? You know, same thing for buyers. How do you help them find the perfect home? Why should they use you as an agent? And then what I've recommended doing is, if you have any pictures of you conducting real estate or any past homes or anything, try to replace these 2 pictures. Or if you just don't have anything, great resource that I've used in the past, it's a little like artsy, is something called unsplash.com. They have free uncopyrighted pictures that you can always do, and I'll put that in the chat here. Again, they are like more, they're for photographers who are not charging people, but I use it all the time for if I'm trying to create something and I don't want to worry about copyright. So that's a great resource. Or if you just search on Google uncopyrighted photos, just make sure that you're not grabbing a photo from Google and it's a copyrighted picture. But definitely replace these pictures, right? Like, obviously this doesn't really represent our market the most, these 2 pictures. So make sure it represents either you and your buyers and sellers, or at least this area too. I recommend that really for any picture too. Like, unfortunately, we're not in the city, so this picture doesn't really best represent us. So, and you can change that header picture out too. And then right on the bottom here too, you're able to put like a footer, like, so if you wanted to end it off and add something more to this page, you can still add more content in here. So if you're like, hey, I really want to like end this page off well, talking about what I do differently for people, and I just haven't been able to communicate that yet, there's more room on here using this footer title and footer paragraph as well. Now, if you're like me and you're like, well, I don't have anything to put on here, you can just delete this stuff out and it'll show up blank and it'll just have that little gray space there. So that's also an option. And you can see that, like, because we had that on our marketing profile, that this stuff shows up every single time. So we'll always have Megan's first and last name, that the brokerage, the logo, address, all of this stuff. Does this make sense? Everyone good? Awesome. Okay, I'm going to continue to the next page. And again, like I said, it's going to show up with these 3 blocks of the navigation, the SEO, and the content. So this one is like the About Me page, so the biography page, pretty much see it as. And same option here. Like, I recommend changing this SEO part to best reflect what that title would be. So you might put, like, change this About Me to put About Me, KW, like Megan Sargent, KW Revolution. Because that's how it's going to show up on Google. And you could just keep that URL the same and put that description of, a little bit something about her as well in there. And the content pretty much grabs everything from that marketing profile section, so you really don't have to do too much here. You can change some things here, but so instead of saying About Me, she could just change that to, her first and last name, possibly. It's going to throw your title on there, and then you can change this bio title. So again, if you didn't want anything in there and you just wanted the bio, you can do that. And then it'll have contact Megan below. So that phone number and email are on there too. And again, that footer will show up as well. All right, I'm gonna click continue. And then this is the last page it gives us. Again, same look over here, navigation, SEO, content. So same thing with that. And this content section, it's just going to give you an option that you can put like so you could change this to put contact Megan, and then you could change this intro paragraph, which is just that contact page body text. So this is where you might say, hey, contact me for if you need any of your real estate needs. You could put all of that in here. So change that little paragraph in there, which I definitely recommend to make it a little bit more custom than just putting what they had in there too. Again, if you don't want any paragraph in there, it is okay to leave that blank. And then for this message over here, they do have a custom little thing you can put here that says if you're looking to buy or sell, what is your time frame, what's in your search, what's your budget. If you want to change any of that, those are things that's going to show up on their website when they see for this contact us page. And then it'll have your phone and email too. Any questions on any of that? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is click save and continue. And it's going to say, congratulations, your site is good to go. And then I'm going to X out of this. It should take you right back to this page here. Okay. So now it's going to take us back to where we first started. It's going to take us into command. It's going to take us to that consumer section. And what we need to do is just click on the agent site pages. And what you're going to see is if you didn't have any of pages here before, you should have 3 pages on there now. But your website is still not active yet. So you need to do one other thing once this is all done. When you're done with all that guide builder, you want to make sure you're in this consumer section, and then you want to go over to this site and app settings here. And what you'll see is that this little button here on the top left-hand corner most likely will be off. You want to make sure that this is green. That's going to make sure that everything that we just did is going to link to your website now. So then it'll be active. You can also see on here too in the site and app settings, a couple features that you can change from here too. So instead of having to go into that site builder that we are in every single time, there are a couple things that you can change out from here. So that hero text, so that find your dream home right over here, you could change that from here. You could change those photos here too. And this is also where you're able to, on your app link, so the web page for your app, this is also where you can change your hero text on that app link too. And then if I click on URLs here, you can see that we have that subdomain that we had before, as well as you can see that app link. Now, if you are possibly listening to this and you're like, what new app link are you talking about? I have no idea what you're saying. You will see over here, once you're done with this, that you can actually see this is the link that you want to make sure that you are sending to either clients you're currently working with or potential clients. This is the app that is branded to you. So when they click on this and they hit copy, I'm sorry, I'm going a little bit of tangent here. If I click on this, this will be a branded app link that will take them to download your app. So you can see over here, this is branded to Megan. I could change this if I want. And this is what they will be getting on here. I don't want to veer too much off topic because there's a lot that can go into that as well, but I just wanted to make sure to point this out to you guys as well. One last thing I want to point out in this section is if you go over to the site pages here, this is where you can see those 3 different sites that we just worked on as well. So if you wanted to add a different page, so you also have options, and I'll show you where you can go and do that in 1 second, but where you can add other landing pages or create other pages. And this is where you can add those pages at. Again, I don't want to go veer too much off because I just wanted to show you guys the basic stuff of getting your website active. But I just wanted to show you these options. And if you do have more questions and want to learn more, I will go deeper into this, but I just wanted to make sure to show you where it was at. Okay. I am pretty much done with all that. So I want to leave the rest of the time if you guys have any questions. If not, the first thing I'll address is Jenny, if I want to go back and go to that marketing profile, like you said, and add that logo, what I can do is make sure I'm on this agent site pages. I can go back to that configure your site and go to the I want to use new KW agent site pages. It's going to take us back to this guide builder. You're going to hit get started and acknowledge and continue.
Okay.
And then this is the marketing profile information I was talking about, this section. And if you scroll all the way down, this is the logo that I was saying, that market center / brokerage logo. That's where we put in ours. And that's why if you go to her site, you'll see that like KW dash that.
Okay. My question was, is that when I tried to put that in, it was a square box and that's a rectangle and it wouldn't take the whole thing.
For the market center / brokerage logo?
Maybe. Let me try to get back there again.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have had some, and this kind of addresses Corinne's question as well. That my best recommendation is if you're having any issues with getting a photo in there, they do provide the recommended size here. And what you can always do is if you go to Canva, you can always change the sizing in Canva as well, which is a free option too.
Jacob is Canva, CANVA.
Yep. And I just put that in the chat too.
Thanks.
No problem.
Do you have the correct size market center logo that you could email or?
Absolutely. I can email that to you right after this.
Yeah, thanks.
No problem.
Jacob, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry if my little one yells over me. What is the difference between the like when you're in this editing section right here that you have on your screen and it changes the find your dream home compared to the part where you can configure your site and it says agent site hero text? What's the difference between that home page and the agent site hero text? Because they say two different things on mine.
So you're talking about where we're in this builder versus the settings section?
Correct.
Yeah. So that settings section is just a faster way to get like something like that done instead of having to go into this every time.
Okay. So mine say two different things. So do I need to change them to say the same?
Yes. I would just make sure that they say the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you changed like the one in here to say like, I don't know, like to say nothing, but then the one in the settings says like find your dream home, but you didn't type that in, it may be a grayed out like thing. Like it may be like a grayed out section that doesn't actually say it. It's just like giving you that as an example.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Just so when I go to my corinnesessions.kw.com, it's the one that is in the settings page that shows up, not the one that I typed in on this.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Then I would make sure to change both of them just to stay safe with that then.
Okay. And then one other thing, if nobody else is asking questions.
Sure.
So when you texted me, you said that something's not linking up right on mine.
Yeah, so I just didn't really know what your website was like at all. So I was just didn't know if you had actively created a website through here yet or not.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Cause I had, and when you just
Okay.
walking what you've gone through here, I didn't see anything that I did wrong. So,
Perfect. Yeah, I just didn't know the name of it, and I was going through the roster and just checking who's got sites and who doesn't, and I just didn't see. So it's probably maybe I spelled something wrong or didn't find it correctly. So,
gotcha.
awesome. Anything else that you guys have questions on?
Thank you.
No problem. All right. Well, if you guys have any other questions on this, let me know. I'd be happy to help you. And Bruce, I'll send you those logos right away.
Thanks, Jacob.
No problem. All right. I will see you guys later.
Thank you.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Bye.
Bye.